Uh-oh.
So, hey, Storm Freaks, it's Phil. A lot of chit chat there going on during our countdown. MJ got mad at us because we were talking during the video. But hey, we've been surrounded by solar storms lately, and so we've got a great show coming up. We brought in the Aurora man himself. Vincent Ledvina is going to be with us to explain it all. We're also going to be playing some WXAI Mad Libs, and of course, sharing our hashtag Weather Fools. All coming up on Stormfront Freaks Live.
Woo! Going green. Greenwich. Saddle up. You got it, boss.
So welcome to the most entertaining weather show. This is Stormfront Freaks Live. And it's brought to you by the AMS Weather Band, so you can connect with weather enthusiasts all over the world, as well as 10,000 plus members of the American Meteorological Society. You can get full membership for just $12 a year by going to amsweatherband.org, just like I did. I just signed up this week. I don't know how long that $12 is going on, but it's a great deal. So also want to thank all of our Patreon members, all of our teammates scrolling across the bottom there: Dan, Tim, Joe, Steve, Garrett, Josh, Angela. I'm going to say them all: Jenny, Jeannie, Jamie, Al, Lauren. I'm
all J's
up a little bit. Lauren, Alec, Stacy, Jeremy, Grant, Liam, Chris,
Mary Ellen.
Great last name. Jennifer and Steve. And also want to mention too about our Patreon members. Big shout out to Grant. He upped his membership to our EF5 tier with exclusive Stormfront Freaks merch. So the key is you can join our team as well. We got a great bunch of folks and teammates with us. You can get access to our exclusive Facebook group. We've got over 50 of our past guests on there. We're going to be inviting Vincent onto that as well. Plus, we have a number of tiers that include some exclusive merchandise. Like I mentioned, Grant is in. So you can help support our show for just as little as $5 a month. You can help us out and be a part of our team. So get more details at stormfrontfreaks.com. So if this happens to be your first time, you're in for a ride. If you're returning, you know it's always happy hour every time we record the show. And it's a great way to introduce the co-hosts that are with us tonight. Also let you know we like to have a little fun on this weather podcast. So I'm going to go around the horn and see who we got here tonight. Jen Watson, our on-camera meteorologist at the Weather Channel. Jen, welcome. And what are you drinking?
I'm here. I'm so excited. I'm going to disappoint you guys, and I don't want to, but I was just actually at a Christmas party prior to this recording. I did have a vodka drink, but it's been a really long day, so I have some warm hot cocoa.
Oh, good.
Shocking.
Glass. Look at how freaking huge that mug is.
But you know what? It's got a
literally
really good saying on it. It says, "It's official. You're awesome." And this is for you, Vincent, our guest. It's for you.
Do we have Stormfront Freaks catheters? Do we have catheters?
Oh, jeez.
That's next. Next on the list. All right, Mark Maz Massaro, our former on-camera meteorologist. Maz. That's
not because I drank a lot.
Colorful. Yeah. Can. What is that?
Okay. It disappears. RG Bevs, Rheingeist Bevs. It's a Wowie colada. I had to hurry and get something from the fridge. I forgot. And it tastes better than it smells. I'm just saying that. Okay.
A Wowie colada? Is that like a canned pina colada?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And in your fridge since the summer. Maybe that's why it doesn't smell so good.
Maybe that. Yeah. Is there an expiration date on
Does
that?
it taste okay?
But
it tastes
glad.
good. Tastes good. The smell,
that's all that matters. That's all that matters. All right, Dina Knightley, our meteorologist and weather producer at weather.com. Dina, what are you drinking?
I have a Mike's Hard Lemonade Black Cherry.
Wow.
That's so yummy. Those are yummy.
I like it, Dina.
Yeah, they're good.
Sounds delicious.
You just drinking one tonight, or is this a 2-night hard lemonade night?
Well, I mean, I just got off work. I'm enjoying it. And if I need another, I'll get another.
All right. Well, we got MJ's in the back running the show as always. He's back in the green room with our VIPs. All three, Dan, Angela, Garrett, are all here tonight, so it's awesome to have those folks here too. So we got a full group. A couple things I want to cover before we get to our guest. A lot of you might be familiar that we hosted a telethon recently. So this was really kind of, as far as I know, the first ever weather podcast that kind of collaborated, got together, and we did a 12-hour disaster relief telethon supporting the American Red Cross disaster relief efforts. And so we got together with Carolina Weather Group, Chaser Chat, Weather Brains. Those were the other podcasts we got together with. And we've raised so far almost $8,000 for that. So thank you to everybody that was support. I want to thank all of our co-hosts that joined us throughout the day as well. So Maz and Dina and Jen, thank you. And the rest of you that aren't on tonight, thanks for being part of that. It was cool to see Kim Cunningham, our former co-host, had a little reunion episode with her as well. So that was fun. But if you want to check this out, it's a 2-part video. You can go to stormfrontfreaks.com, or I'm sorry, go to youtube.com/stormfrontfreaks and go to the live videos. You'll find part 1 and part 2. Guests included Reed Timmer, Ginger Z, Jim Cantori, Josh Morgan, Mike Bettis, over 20 others. It was really an epic day of guests, and that QR code and that link to be able to donate is still active. So you can still check it out. And if you hadn't had a chance to do so, and you can, we appreciate the donations to help.
Phil, was that your idea? Because it was brilliant.
It was. It was an epic day.
That it's where the idea kind of started, but believe me, it was not. That was a team effort putting that whole thing on. Because an idea is only, it's a great idea, but if you can't put out a 12-hour telethon by yourself, it's only so good. But
no
it really
potty breaks.
It was a
No
great
potty
collaboration. It was a lot of fun. Hey, and then the other thing I want to cover too is this is episode 198, and we've got our 200th episode is coming up here in less than a month. If you're not aware, then shame on us for not, letting you know about that. But it is coming up Thursday, January 4th. We're going to be live our normal time, 9:00 Eastern, 8:00 Central. But we're going to be live from the Mount Washington Observatory, home of the worst weather in the world. So we are going to be up at the summit broadcasting the show live. We're going to have Reed Timmer is going to be live with us as well, joining us up there. We're also meeting Fox Weather's Janice Dean. She's going to be coming down the same day that we get up there. So we're going to have a chance to chat with her, be able to probably edit that into the audio podcast that we release on that. So it's going to be an unbelievable live event. So I just want to make sure you get that on your calendar. There's going to be lots of surprises and giveaways we're going to talk about as well. So Thursday, January 4th.
Yes.
Mark your calendar.
Man,
It's
if
gonna
you
be
don't
amazing.
Oh, baby, it's marked.
so
I
cold.
can't wait.
Mess. Yeah, I'm not a fan of cold weather, but it's a night. It's a sleepover. It's a one and done. It'll be good. We're gonna
We'll get you into a hot tub later.
Oh yeah, we'll do that in the next hotel.
All right, Matt. Hey, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's get to our guest we've been waiting on tonight.
Awesome. Hey, we have like the smartest guy in the world with us. We're going to make us all look like dire. It's Vincent Ledvina. He is a space physics Ph.D. That's all I have to say right there. We're all like, okay, there you go. He's a student at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. He's been an aurora chaser, which is fascinating, and a photographer since the age of 16, growing up in Minnesota. Oh, yeah. And Vincent is a great communicator with multiple educational resources on aurora chasing and photography on his website, theauroraguy.com. And Vincent, you've seen Twister. You know the part where they say, we got cows, and people don't know what kind of cow that is, right? So when you talk about aurora, there's more than one type of aurora?
Oh, yeah. Lots of different
types.
What are we
talking? Like what?
Well, okay, so this is kind of a funny tangent, but I have a habit, I guess, of naming auroras after foods. So I have affectionately called this spirally type of aurora a cinnamon roll aurora. And then there's this other type of aurora, which is this was just recently, like last week. It's like this green band with this red fringe on the bottom, and I like to call that a watermelon aurora. So, I mean, there's a lot of different types of auroras out there. It's not just a glow in the sky. It can be pretty dynamic.
Are you putting those in your paper? Are those names?
Yeah.
Like, are those in your PhD papers you're writing? Watermelon aurora.
Yeah, those are going to have to make it in. Yeah.
Good.
So
did you see your first aurora in Minnesota? Is that how it all started?
Yeah.
Or how did this whole thing start?
Yeah, I mean, it really started, I want to say, back in 2003. So there was this really famous solar storm called the Halloween storm, October 31st, 2003. So I was trick-or-treating. I was 4 years old. And there were some really amazing auroras. And I actually remember seeing those in the sky. And I grew up in just a suburb in the Twin Cities. And I didn't realize it was aurora until I was 16 years old, when I started getting into photography a lot more. I was in Boy Scouts. So I did camping a lot, outdoors with my dad, and I didn't see a whole lot of auroras when I was out there, because you have to be in the right place at the right time, but just always have had a love for the outdoors, science. And I got into photography. My dad was a photographer when he was in college. So he gave me one of his old cameras. I just started taking photos on family trips and things like that. And then I eventually got into astrophotography, because I've always been into the stars and astronomy, and then kind of found auroras as like this, ultimate chase, right? Like, you don't see auroras all the time, so it's a challenge. It's not like the Milky Way where you can go out and see it every single night. I wanted something that was kind of unique and that I could work towards. So yeah, I got into space weather just as an enthusiast when I was in high school, and it eventually turned into my career. So,
Vincent, that is such an amazing story. I do have to ask you though, when you were 4 years old, 2003, what did you go as for Halloween?
oh my God, that's a great question. I think, if I remember correctly, I think I was like a firefighter or something. Just a very like textbook sort of like toddler age costume. But yeah, I think one year I was a ghost too, just very generic, but yeah.
It's simple, but it does the job. So I love it.
Right. Yeah,
and so
it worked.
Vincent, so we, focus a lot on like weather, tornadoes, hurricanes, all of that. And our viewers or our listeners may not know exactly what an aurora borealis is or how it's created. So can you kind of like do a little simplified definition for us?
Oh yeah, definitely. So an aurora is kind of like this upper atmosphere light show. So it's light, it's not clouds, it's not condensation, and it's formed by the interaction of charged particles, so plasma, that come from outer space, actually within Earth's own magnetic field. And when these particles are streaming down through the atmosphere, eventually our atmosphere gets thick enough where they start running into gases in our own atmosphere. And these charged particles from outer space collide with the gas particles, and there's a process called ionization, which takes place, which you don't need to necessarily worry about what that is, but it releases a photon of light. And depending on what gas is being ionized by these charged particles, that's how we get the different colors. So there's green and there's red, which are caused by oxygen at different altitudes. And then there's the pink, which I was mentioning in the watermelon aurora, which is caused by nitrogen. And the auroras happen all the time somewhere in the world, every single night. And it happens in what's called an auroral oval. So there's two, one at the North Pole and one at the South Pole, around the geomagnetic poles, so not the geographic poles. And in these auroral ovals, you have auroras every single night.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Wow.
Have you been up to like visit one of those? Have you been in one of the ovals?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm living in Fairbanks, so I'm like literally right underneath the aurora, right underneath the oval right now. So yeah.
So can you basically see one every single night, like when you step outside?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
So
I'm amazed.
These start off from CMEs, that the coronal mass ejections. But if you're kind of even tracking these, which you can on the internet, like how long would you, like, say you want to be like me or Jen and we want to go see one.
Yeah.
Did we know that there's been a big CME, it's on their way to Earth. How long does that take to get here so we can kind of plan? Is it real quick?
Yeah.
Or
no, it takes days. So I think the fastest CME that was ever recorded it might be either the Carrington event, which you may have heard of. That was in 1859, or there was this event called the Bastille Day event either way, it was about 17 to 24 hours. So that's as fast
Wow.
as they
Wow.
come. But usually it's around 2 to 4 days, I would say. So you have
So
some
we
time
can book that ticket. We can book that ticket,
if you
Tina,
want.
let's
and we
go.
get right up there.
Yeah, some
Hey,
people
Vincent.
are pretty extreme. Like there were a few people with this last solar storm that literally booked their tickets up to Fairbanks when they saw the predictions. So
Oh.
So Vincent, like Will Ferrell asked in Elf, what's your favorite color?
green. It's a little cliche.
Really?
Yeah, green or red. I would probably say green though. I mean,
And
it's
that's-
cliche,
very
but
Christmas.
I
I
just
never
like green.
remember the gases, but you said oxygen, right? It has to hit
Yes,
oxygen.
yeah, exactly.
I can never
Yeah.
remember which gas makes which color.
Yeah.
So, Vincent, are there seasons like that you can chase auroras where it's like more likely to see some, between November, December, January? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's kind of a tricky question because up here in Alaska, we only have night for roughly half the year. So from the beginning of September until the end of April, it's actually dark enough to see auroras. The other parts of the year, you cannot see auroras, but the auroras are happening all the time, even without CMEs. Somewhere in the auroral oval, there's an aurora going on. So, as long as it's dark and it's clear outside, you can see the aurora. It's just a matter of it being dark. So in the summer, there's no auroras in the Arctic at all. So our aurora season starts at the beginning of September and ends till the end of, around the end of April. But if you live like in Minnesota, for example, North Dakota, any of those northern tier states or southern Canada, you don't get a midnight sun. So you can see auroras all year long. And then what's really cool is in September and March, there's this special phenomenon. It's called the Russell-McPherson effect. Won't necessarily get into it, but the auroras are stronger around the equinoxes. So March and September are the two strongest months for auroras. And then what's really cool too is around the end of August and around the beginning of May, end of April, the sun is low enough below the horizon where it actually can light up the tops of aurora here at high latitudes, and you get blue. So the blue auroras are super rare, and that's nitrogen being ionized by sunlight. So you can only really get that during the shoulder seasons. So yeah, or the shoulder months of the season.
You seen that? You seen the blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen the blue.
Is there
it's
not your
anything you
favorite.
haven't seen?
Is there anything I haven't seen?
Yeah.
I have not seen. Okay, so there's a special type of aurora called cusp aurora, and it only happens during the daytime, which sounds weird, right? Auroras during the daytime, but there's certain areas on Earth that have polar night. So on the solstice or near the solstice, the sun never rises. Well, there's auroras on the day side of Earth. So when it's dark in those areas during the daytime, you can actually get these special types of aurora called cusp aurora. And really the only place you can see that in the entire world is Svalbard. So I've never been to Svalbard, but that's one place where you can see cusp aurora.
Is
my
that
God.
on your bucket list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Svalbard's on my bucket list. Oh yeah.
Hey, so you mentioned the Carrington event back in the 1800s. I'm sure we have at least a few preppers out there who may be listening. So that was a massive event, and I can't remember. Was that the late 1800s? Is that what you said?
1859, I believe.
Okay, so did they even have telegraph back then? I'm not a history buff, so I can't remember exactly.
They did. Yep.
So there was arcing and
systems.
all kinds of problems. So if we have an event, what kind of an event would cause the blackouts that could come? Everyone's like, "Oh, EMP is going to do it," but it could be a coronal mass ejection, right?
Right. Yeah. So the CMEs, coronal mass ejections, create the most severe types of space weather. So the Carrington event, which was in 1859, just for some backstory in case people don't know, it's one of the strongest geomagnetic storms ever recorded. It might not be the strongest in every respect, but auroras were seen as far south as Cuba, for example.
Wow.
There's stories of miners in Colorado getting up at 2 a.m. because they thought the sun was rising, but it was actually the aurora that was so bright. And then there was so much energy in the atmosphere that telegraph operators were able to unplug their machines and actually use them without any power being connected, because there was so much energy just in the atmosphere and in the ground.
God.
It was able to power their telegraph systems. And then a lot of stations burned down because there was so much power in the wires that it would spark the telegraph operators in the really thin telegraph paper, and it would catch on fire. So actually a number of stations burned down. But if that were to happen today, it's hard to say. because the Carrington event is it's just a class of event. It's not like, space weather it just stops at the Carrington event. I mean, it could get worse than the Carrington event. That's just kind of the worst that we've ever seen. But there's evidence that we've had even more powerful solar storms thousands of years ago. So it's really hard to say what would happen, in the modern day if one of those CMEs were to hit Earth. But luckily, there's a lot of research, and I mean, there's dedicated organizations set up to monitor space weather 24/7, like NOAA, the Space Weather Prediction Center, FEMA is connected to all that, the Air Force, NASA, all these different government agencies. So, I like to take the optimist approach in the fact that, if we had a Carrington class event, we wouldn't all die, so to speak. And I don't even think there would be, worldwide blackouts, but there would definitely be some effects. So it's not anything to worry about, up late at night, keeping you from sleeping. But, it is in the back of every forecaster's mind is like, what if one of these happened today? Because we haven't seen one in almost 200 years. So,
which is wild.
Did the government tell you to say that?
Yeah. I have someone in the corner right now just watching me.
We see a shadow.
Vincent, how common is like an event like the Carrington event? Because we have generational tornado outbreaks, which occur every like 35 to 40 years. But is it every 200-300 years, or is there really not a range for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So depends on who you ask, because we haven't actually seen a Carrington, event in a while. So we can only estimate, right? So these CMEs come off the sun in all sorts of directions. So we can see a really big CME come off the sun and we can say, oh, that looks like a Carrington class event, because it might look really, really powerful. But if we don't have any satellites there to measure it when it hits, we don't actually know what it would have done if it were to hit Earth. But I believe if you read the literature, there were a couple CMEs last solar cycle. So I think there was one in 2012 and then maybe one in 2017. Maybe even one in 2015 that were dubbed Carrington class CMEs. So, there's probably one per solar cycle. So one every 10 years. It's just a matter of if sort of the sun is loading its gun and if that gun is aimed at Earth or not. So, these things are pretty common.
Wow. Because we're at we're at the like high range of that solar cycle now, right?
Yeah.
And how long is that going to last? So, maybe this next few months we could expect more, because I have seen a lot of headlines.
Next couple of years. Next couple of years. Yeah. So it's not. So a big misconception is that this solar maximum is like 1 point, but in reality, it's sort of a high season and a low season is kind of how I like to put it. So we're in the high season right now, and that we've been in the high season for almost the past year, and we'll be in the high season for the next couple of years. So it'll be really good for auroras. And actually, what's interesting is aurora, the peak sort of aurora season within the solar cycle is actually towards the declining phase of the solar cycle. So actually we might not have even seen the peak of it yet. Yeah. So there's a lot of good years left to come.
So we have time to book our tickets.
You have lots of time.
And I think, Dina, on that note, how do you forecast these? Like what resources are you using, Vincent, to determine hey, we're going to have a good one here in the next 48 hours, or what are you looking at to kind of forecast and help you out with that?
Yeah. Forecasting, I mean, there's people with PhDs that do all that stuff, but I like to just sort of take the most basic approach, which is, I get a lot of my sort of heads up by following people on Twitter. So, there's people who are watching the sun all the time who will say, oh, there was a giant solar flare that just happened. Or even like Space Weather Live is an app which you can download, and it'll notify you if solar flares are going on. And a flare, this is an important distinction. A solar flare is just kind of like a flash of light. It's like a paparazzi bulb goes off on the sun. And that does not mean that a CME has launched necessarily. It just means that there could be a CME with the flare. So a flare and a CME are two separate things, but oftentimes with a really strong solar flare, which are measured, there's a whole scale. It goes from A-class solar flares at the bottom to X, and it's a logarithmic scale. It's kind of like the Richter scale for earthquakes. If you see like an M-class or an X-class flare, there's a good chance that there was a CME launched with that flare. And then the CME has to be directed towards Earth. And that's always the hard part, is modeling the CME once it comes off the sun, because all we have are images. So you're trying to construct a 3D, basically a 3D picture of this big explosion coming off the sun as it's going out through space. Well, that's not easy. And a lot of these models make simplifications, and it's just it's a whole can of worms. But basically, I look for solar flares, and then I see what the models are saying. So the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center puts out models, and so does the NASA Coordinated Community Modeling Center. They both release their own models, and it'll actually show you this sort of shock wave coming off the sun and going out into the solar system. And then from that, you can get when the CME is supposed to hit Earth. And then when you see that, then you can start, booking your plane tickets or whatever, going up to Alaska, wherever, whenever that CME is supposed to hit. I always say you look at the forecast time and you add 12 hours, subtract 12 hours, and you have a pretty good window of when it's supposed to arrive. And then once it does arrive, or once the time, says it's supposed to arrive, then you can start checking solar wind data and other things to see if you see a CME shock being detected by satellites, and then you can get into the whole aurora monitoring regime too. So it's like you have the sun, you have everything between the sun and the Earth, and then you have the Earth, and it's three sort of separate paradigms almost.
So is that why there's actually two questions here? I've seen like on Twitter people talk about maybe there was a CME, but now they're waiting on some kind of model to determine if it's going to actually create something here. Okay, so they're basically waiting on a model output.
Yeah,
and then
exactly right.
Second question is, could it be something where it happens during the day, and so you kind of miss out on really any benefit of that because it's happening for us during the day? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's happened so many times this season. I feel like Alaska's just been completely hosed, and Europe has gotten some amazing shows. I mean, just like the last CME, it hit during the day, and here in Alaska, I mean, we got some good stuff, but nothing like they did in Europe. I feel like the last 4 or 5 CMEs, we've just been completely on the wrong side of the world for it. But yeah, usually CMEs last between 12 and 24 hours, I want to say. So. And the best aurora usually happens right after it hits too. So, if it hits during the day, well, you're just holding your breath to make, to see if it's going to last until the nighttime.
Do you have a
possible, just one more question, Maz. Is it because the other kind of tie on to that is it seems like people are like wait, they're out there, they're out at night, it's supposed to hit, but nothing yet, it's a bust, or it's not, finally came. How close are these models getting to determining the time period that they're actually hitting?
Yeah, so for the weaker CMEs, the ones that aren't as fast or dense, those sometimes get caught up in just the solar wind, and kind of it's like getting caught up in traffic. So those might not even ever make it. They might just be too slow, or they just run into so much other things along the way that they just fall apart. But the really nice, well-defined CMEs, I think the current literature says something like plus or minus 7 to 12 hours. I think closer to the 7-hour mark. But I mean, it's hard because you're trying to model this thing based on just one observation, which is us on Earth looking at the sun, 93 million miles away. So it's really hard. I mean, the models are pretty extraordinary that they can even get anything out of that. So yeah, 7 to 12 hours roughly, plus or minus on the arrival times.
So do you guys have like a term? I have 2 questions. First one is, do you have a term like in weather, storm chasers, when we miss it, it's a blue sky bust, right? Do you guys have a term when you're like, oh, crud, totally missed it didn't happen. We thought it was going to happen, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. I don't know if we have like I don't think there's like necessarily a term. We just call it a bust usually, but yeah, I don't know. People call it all sorts of things, like either a bust or, complete miss, or people will say too, if like the CME is like going to kind of hit us, they'll say, oh, it's going to sideswipe us. Or because CMEs are kind of shaped like croissants, people. That's actually kind of
It's a food. It's a food one.
Yeah. It's another food. There you go. I was actually at a conference. It was a space weather conference 2 weeks ago in France, and I made the joke that CMEs are just space croissants, and everybody was laughing at that.
So you should come up with a term, and it will be yours. You come up with it,
Exactly.
and we'll market it, baby. I'm telling you.
Okay.
No, so my second question is: so you mentioned computer models, and hey, in the weather field, we're all very familiar with the computer models. How do they differ? Or what are your computer models based on? And like, what the heck? How do you even forecast that?
Okay. Well, CME modeling is a whole. So it's kind of cool because one of my internships when I was at University of North Dakota, where I went for undergrad, I did an internship at this small company in San Diego called Predictive Science, and they do CME modeling along with other things. So I actually have a paper on CME modeling. So I've worked with models, and really what models use are these images called coronagraphs. And if you've never heard of a coronagraph, basically in outer space, there are satellites that have what's called an occulting arm that sticks out from like the main bus of the satellite. And there's a little circle on the occulting arm that covers up the sun. It creates an artificial eclipse. And what that allows you to do is you get rid of the really bright light from the sun. And you can see all the solar wind coming off of it. And you can see the little puffs of CMEs coming off the sun. And based on how big those puffs are, like for example, the angular width of the CME, whether it's really narrow or really wide, how fast it's traveling away from the sun, you can get all those data together and then feed it into a model that then propagates it out into the solar system. So it's actually just taking raw data from images for the most part, and using those raw data to feed then into these, fancy physics-based, sometimes just what are called hydrodynamic models, and then there's also magnetohydrodynamic models, feeding all those data into physics models that then propagate the CME out into space.
So somebody really good in math.
Yeah, somebody
I know.
got a lot of math.
We've always read that a strong CME could knock out our power grids, and I've heard it could even make your garage door go up and down. Like, have you seen any of this, or what's the craziest thing you've ever seen?
There's a lot of anecdotes on Facebook. Like I think there was one coronal mass ejection that caused what's called a G2 storm. So G2 means KP6, and KP goes from 1 to 9. 9 is the most severe, which is a G5. And there was somebody on Facebook who works on oil rigs in Saskatchewan, and they were saying that they had to actually shut down their entire operations because the drills used on oil rigs have very precision GPS, and the GPS signals get affected a lot by auroras. So they had to actually shut down all their operations. But I mean, there's power grid warnings that go out to, power grids all across North America when these big geomagnetic storms happen, especially polar routes for aircraft. If there's a really severe CME with a big radiation storm, they actually might divert some of the planes over the poles.
Oh, that's interesting too.
That's crazy.
Yep. And then, for precision GPS, that's probably the most affected sort of industry because those signals get scintillated by the aurora when they're trying to communicate through the satellites. If the aurora is in the way, it sort of makes the signal all shaky, kind of like staticky. So if you're trying to do drone, a lot of drone operators find issues with piloting their drones underneath aurora. Even Google Maps could become really weird. I've actually seen that happen a couple times. When I'm out aurora chasing, my Google Maps will tell me I'm over here when I'm really over here. And that actually, yeah, right.
There's nothing there.
Turn left into the mountain, go off the side of the road. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of weird things that happen with geomagnetic storms. The weirdest thing though is I was forwarded a video by somebody on Facebook, and they were right underneath some power lines, and there was some really big aurora, and you could actually hear the power lines going.
Ooh,
wow.
With the aurora. Yeah, it was
That's
really
amazing.
cool. So
I'll tell you what, we're talking about amazing things. I mentioned this earlier, right? If you love Stormfront Freaks, there's a global community that's got thousands of weather enthusiasts that you're going to want to join. It's the American Meteorological Society's weather band. So as I said, we talked about this. If you go to amsweatherband.org, you can connect with weather enthusiasts all over the world. that are probably involved in aurora chasing and forecasting as well. 10,000 plus members of the AMS are all involved in this as well. You can swap questions, data, stories with the researchers, broadcasters, storm chasers, and more that are all a part of this association. Join interactive weather webinars, test your trivia knowledge. You can enter storm chasing photos in the Weather Band photo contest or attend the annual Jamposium. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Jamposium.
Yeah, baby.
It does. It sounds
So
awesome.
Weather Band is a place to nurture and share your love of weather. You can get full membership, as I said, for just $12 a year. And I know that's a limited time offer because when I signed up here this week, I think it said it was normally 26 or something like that. So I don't know how long that's going on, but definitely check it out. Take advantage of it. Go to amsweatherband.org. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back here with more from Vincent.
Don't miss Vintage Stormfront Freaks.
This one here, we do have a few dents in the new Suburban, but my truck, that hood's a trophy.
You might as well put 2 GoPros on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what it looks like.
So I'm like, I'm going to drive this thing into a tornado, and then they all start laughing.
Good. You'll be the only sober one by the end of the night.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, welcome back to the show. We got Vincent Ledvina here, the Aurora Man. And I'll tell you what, so it was great information on really what to look for, Vincent, when to look for it, all that good stuff. I want to get into now the photography of all this stuff, because this is right where it gets beautiful and can share this with other people that maybe can't be there or witness this. So here's the thing. I'm just lay this out here. A lot of our viewers and listeners know I'm not a big DSLR photo guy. I don't have the patience to really try and figure that out well enough to be good at it. So I just kind of shoot and point sometimes with it. I'm a big iPhone guy. So I'm going to start off this whole question with what are the best ways to just use your phone to get the best aurora images or video?
Sure. Yeah. So iPhones, especially the newer ones, can do a really good job. It's very surprising. Like I take out my phone during an aurora and I'm not expecting anything. Then I take a photo and it actually looks pretty good. Sometimes I'm like, why did I spend $5,000 on this fancy picture when my iPhone probably can do just 90% of the work? So, but for some tips, honestly, I just, point it up at the aurora and then press the little shutter button and it does a pretty good job. But on iPhones, you can unlock a 30-second night exposure mode if you just have it on a tripod. So I recommend getting like a little phone tripod and having it on there because you don't want any camera shake. Try and have it on a flat surface or something, and you can actually take a photo with a longer shutter speed. So the shutter speed lets in more light the longer it is. And the more light you have, basically the cleaner image you're going to get. Also, for video of the aurora, newer phones can take video, which is really cool. And to do that, you don't want to be in your 4K 60 mode, which is what a lot of phones default to. You want to be in your 1080p 30 frames per second mode. So that lower frame rate, the frame rate is just taking a photo every X amount of seconds or X fraction of seconds. So 24 frames per second, that's 1/24 is your shutter speed. So the lower frame rate actually will help you because you're increasing the amount of light that you can get per photo. So that's what I recommend.
Wow,
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
You could do that on an iPhone?
Yeah.
In settings?
Well, actually, if you just open your camera at the top right, should be or top right should be a 4K 60 something along those lines, and you can tap the 4K and you can change it to HD, and then if you tap the 60 you can change it to 30.
Oh, that's awesome.
You need to have some classes and charge for this.
I know.
You're making money.
Vincent, you absolutely need to. I had a quick question, super quick. So to follow up on this topic. So if you have a DSLR, what are your tips? Yes, if you have an iPhone, those were incredible, but do you have any tips for like a nicer camera?
Yeah, definitely. So first, for gear, it doesn't really matter what camera you have, it's going to work. For lenses, you want to have a wide angle, wide aperture lens. And aperture is your F number. So like if you see an f/2.8 or something, that's your aperture, that's your F number. The lower the number, the wider the opening in the lens is going to be. So 2.8 or lower is what I recommend. And then for settings, you want your aperture as wide as you can get it, or your F number as low as you can get it. You want your shutter speed at a maximum 400 divided by your focal length. So for example, for a 20 millimeter lens, that's 400 divided by 20, that's 20 seconds. That's your maximum, because any shutter speed that's longer than that is going to cause the stars to trail. And you don't necessarily want that, because the Earth is spinning, so the stars actually do move across the sky. You can't see it, but your camera will see it with a long enough shutter speed. And then for your ISO, you can basically put that at whatever you want, whatever makes the image look good. So usually for me, that's around 1600 to 6400. And then as the aurora gets really bright and really dances a lot, you might want to decrease your shutter speed a little bit. So like, let's say you're at 20 seconds before, you might want to go down to 10 seconds or 5 seconds, because since the aurora is moving really fast, a long shutter speed is actually going to blur out the aurora. And the aurora has a lot of fine structures in it, like little sort of like picket fence formations, a lot of times little, like, I don't know, like jaggedy features. So a long shutter speed is going to smooth those out. But if you want those to be seen, you want a shorter shutter speed.
Okay, awesome. Vincent, you're so amazing. I feel like we could just ask you anything and you would know the answer to it. Now, I looked on your website and you have a pretty awesome website. It's really, really cool. I recommend everyone going to it, theauroraguy.com. I noticed, though, which is really neat, that you sell NFTs. So with all your beautiful photography, can you like give us a little insight into that?
Yeah, so I mean, NFTs are a little controversial. So so the story with me and NFTs actually was through Twitter. Somebody contacted me. This was all the way back in 2021, I want to say. Yeah. And they said, hey, I collect NFTs. Do you have any NFTs? And I said, no, I don't even know what an NFT is. So I actually minted a few NFTs and I sold them to this person. I sold three or four of my photos, and they actually bought them. I mean, usually they're scams. So I was like, just kind of surprised that it actually worked out. But yeah, I have a few NFTs. I don't really prioritize that as much, but I do plan on getting more into it, because, you know, crypto is always ebbing and flowing. Seems like, you know, 1 month crypto is crashing, the next month crypto is like, you know, 200% or something, like, you know, increasing. So I don't know. I think NFTs do have a lot of value, especially with digital, you know, photos, right? Because you're not actually buying the photo, you're buying the certificate of ownership for the photo. That's the NFT. So yeah, I mean, I have a few NFTs, but I think it's a cool way of selling your artwork. I have no gripes with it at all, and I support people who do it. So
yeah, I support it
Vincent,
too.
Let's stay on this cash thing for just a second. Okay. So like, so what kind of market is there really for pictures like this? And are there many people taking pictures and actually selling them? Like, I mean, so if I'm like, okay, you just gave me some great tips here, how much money can I make doing this?
Not a lot, honestly. I'm really not in it for the money. I'm still going to school, so
it's not funding your PhD.
No, no. My PhD is my safety net in case this doesn't work out monetarily. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, obviously, there's some money in it. You know, it's just like any photography. You take photos, and then, you know, if they're really pretty, people will want to buy them. I've kind of branched out a little bit. So on my website, I do sell like merch and things like that, like coffee mugs and like all these random things, because I mean, it does help, you know, alleviate some of the hours spent on this hobby, which is more of a job at this point. But I mean, in terms of yeah, money, it's just like any other landscape, even like storm chasing photography, right? Some of it does go into licensing too. Like if there's a really big event, I might take a cool video, let's say of like the watermelon aurora, for example. That got picked up by a few news, like larger news broadcasting agencies, and they were able to pay me for those licenses. So I'd say that's probably the actual like main source of money. I also do a couple workshops a year. I have one in March in Fairbanks. So just like aurora, like week-long aurora photography workshops. They're a lot of work, but they're super rewarding because you're with these people. We have 6 guests who are coming up for a week in March. So we're all going to be staying in a house together out of Fairbanks, and we'll be driving them around, doing aurora chasing and things like that. So I guess with auroras, it's kind of interesting because there's the photo, like the pure photography side of things, and there's also the service industry, which is doing the tours and doing these workshops, which I only do a little bit of just because school is so, it's really taxing. So I can't, I have to sleep at some point. And that's few and far between. But yeah, there's some money in it, but I don't do it for the money, obviously. Some people do, and that's totally fine. But it's only a few, I would say, who are really, making a lot and are able to make a living off of it.
Well, I have to give you a shout out, Vincent, because I know everyone's getting their calendars for next year, and you sell Aurora calendars with your photography in it. So if you need a calendar, just get one. It sounds like it's going to be a perfect Christmas present, I would have to say.
I would say so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever. Just buy your family, friends, like one of his calendars, because I know it's going to be beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm on the site right now, and I'm like, the mug, I am digging the mug. I'm
right?
Like,
people do like the mugs. People do like the mugs, I will have to say.
Yeah. The mugs are really pretty too. Like everything's stunning that you do, Vincent. Like it's incredible.
So don't sell out till I get one, okay? Just
don't worry.
Oh, hey, that's the sound. Vincent, it's time for a lightning round.
Okay.
This is our game show of flashy and brilliant questions, very fitting for Aurora. But we always play this with our guest. And tonight, we're going to play a little game that we're calling Famous Stars. All right, so we're talking about solar storms, and so I figured this game called Famous Stars would be kind of fitting. But it's a different star than what you might be thinking about. This is basically the top 40 list of leading role box office actors.
Okay.
Stars, right? These are Hollywood stars, famous stars. So this is a top 40 list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to give you 2 of the actors on this list. And you have to tell me which one is higher on the list, which means they've been in more leading roles that have made the most money, right? So this is basically this is based off of box office dollars.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I may have been in one film, and you were in 20. Right? but how much did your 20 films make as a leading actor compared to my one as a leading actor? Right. It's all about the money on this, right? You with me there? And the freaks can help you out, and you don't have to listen to them, but the freaks can help you out. Sound good?
Okay. Yep. I got it.
So here are the first 2 actors on the list. We have Will Smith and Johnny Depp. Which of those 2 is higher on the list?
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I feel
Johnny. Right?
I was kind of leaning toward Johnny too, because he did all the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be a contrarian and say Will Smith.
Ooh, Vincent, I like you. Go on your
what?
own.
Like what? Why Will Smith?
I don't know. I feel like he's just been in so many movies, right?
Yeah, he had Men in Black.
Okay.
Yeah. You'd be wrong.
It's okay. That was a good. I like you, Vincent.
You'd be wrong. It was Johnny Depp. It was
that was a good comparable one, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know about how
Johnny
much?
Depp, because he always.
I didn't write down the dollar figures.
Okay.
Will Smith was 19th. Johnny Depp was 12th on the list.
Oh, okay. Well, that was close, though. That was pretty comparable.
All right, here's a tough one. Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt?
Oh, that's tough.
This is a tough one.
I'm gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio on this one.
I'm with you on
Because
that.
Titanic is one of the highest grossing films ever. So
Yeah.
Then you would be correct.
we got that. I think
He
it's
was
like number 4 or
30th,
5.
and he was 30. Brad Pitt was 36.
Oh,
Okay.
they're further down than I expected.
All
His
right,
girlfriend was like 18, right?
All right,
one?
so here's the next one. Emma Watson or Harrison Ford?
Oh, that's a tough
Harrison
one.
Ford.
Emma Watson.
Yeah, Harrison
Ford.
Ford.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
No!
Because
Harry
of Harry
Potter.
Potter? Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. She did Beauty and the Beast.
But Harrison
what
was
else?
Harrison was
the
Star Wars.
He was Star
Indiana
Wars.
Jones.
Indiana
Yeah.
Jones.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
That blows
How
my
old?
mind.
And like a lot
How
of
much
cameos.
longer? Yeah, but how long ago were those films? And the cameos don't count, right? This is leading role.
Oh.
This is leading role.
Oh.
Okay.
And
You did
how
say
old
that.
were those films, right?
Yeah.
Those films were older, and money back then compared to money today. Little
And is it
different story.
is it current? Is it current? Like
Yeah, it's
current
Yeah,
popularity?
because Harrison Ford just did the new Indiana
Okay.
Jones one.
Yeah, he
I
did.
mean,
Yeah,
he
it
was
didn't do
wicked
that
old,
great.
but
It didn't do that great,
Are we
though.
I
adjusting
didn't
for
even see that one,
inflation?
honestly.
No,
Yeah.
we're not adjusting. This is just flat out dollars.
Oh, okay.
Flat out dollars.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to go with Steve Carell or Tom Hanks. Steve Carell or Tom
Tom.
Hanks?
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I think Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Tom was 11.
We're back
Steve
in it.
was 31.
Oh,
Good job.
not even close.
And then I think I missed Emma was 16. Harrison Ford was 24.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Next one, we have got Tom Cruise or The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
I think Tom Cruise.
I'm gonna say The Rock.
Yeah,
maybe The
Vincent.
Rock.
I like it.
I'm gonna go with The Rock.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Tom
But
Cruise.
Oh, Mission
His
Impossible.
muscles are bigger.
Mission Impossible.
Dang it.
Yep. You got Top Gun.
But The
But you
Rock
had
has done a
Black
lot of
Adam, you had Jumanji.
Yeah.
yeah, he's done a lot too.
No.
And animated
No.
stuff.
A lot of
Yeah.
Black
films,
Adam.
but how much money they make? How much money they make? Black Adam didn't do so good.
Yeah, it didn't do
Really?
as
I
good.
thought that
theater.
one.
But he
I
didn't
saw
I
that,
mean, it was
but on the
good.
plane.
It was okay.
Yeah, well, right. It was on the plane. You didn't pay $1 for it.
Yeah,
So
no, I didn't pay a thing for it.
no box office money there for The Rock on that one. All right. We'll do another one here. We're going to go Bruce Willis or Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. I'm going to go
I want
Matt
to say
Damon.
Matt Damon. I want to say.
I'm going to say Matt
Oh.
because of he's more recent.
I'll go
Yeah.
off and say Bruce Willis just to throw.
Okay.
Fast and
So
Furious?
Vincent?
Is that Bruce Willis? No.
Vincent, what's your
I'm
final
going to say
answer?
Damon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yay.
that's correct. What was that? Like
Damon,
50%
Damon
or
was
something?
33. Bruce Willis was 38.
Okay.
Oh, that was close,
Close.
too.
Wow.
All right. Let's do this one. We're going to go Liam Neeson or Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh.
Daniel Radcliffe. I
I'm
feel like
gonna go
Liam Neeson
Radcliffe.
hasn't been in a movie in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Daniel Radcliffe
Really?
was
Good job,
22,
Vincent.
Liam Neeson 40.
All time.
All right, so that's it for the. So here's what I'm going to do, because this is what's kind of ridiculous about this whole list. Give me the top. Like, I haven't even covered the top 5.
Right.
All right. So
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to ask you, who do you think's in the top 5, Vincent? And all you have to think is Marvel.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say
That's
Tom
all you have to
Holland,
think is Marvel.
RJ,
Who?
Robert Downey Jr., Tom
Evans.
Holland. Tom
Chris
Holland's not in the
Chris-
top 5.
Really?
Chris Evans.
Oh, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Tom Holland's 14. Chris Evans is 10. So
Oh.
far, you got
Hemsworth?
Robert Downey Jr.
What about
Look at-
Hemsworth?
Look in the private chat.
Hemsworth
Angela
is
and Jared are
8.
going for it. I like it. Tom
Oh yeah, I
Hiddleston?
see it.
Thor.
Tom
Hiddleston?
Hiddleston he's on
Zendaya?
here.
Zendaya.
He's 35th.
Ruffalo?
No, Zendaya's
Amy
not.
Chalamet? No.
I don't think he's on here.
What
So
about-
here's
About
the top
Black Widow.
Here's the top 10, right?
Okay.
So I basically didn't cover any of these because it's just all Marvel in this whole list.
Great.
Okay.
So
The
crazy.
top 10 included Tom Cruise at number 6.
Wow.
Okay.
Outside of that, it's Samuel L. Jackson,
Wow.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah. Black Widow.
Robert Downey Jr.,
Okay.
Zoe Saldana,
Okay.
Chris Pratt,
Huh.
Vin
Oh.
Diesel, Chris Hemsworth, Bradley Cooper, and Chris Evans, all in
Okay.
Marvel
Yeah.
movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
And some of them others as well, but certainly probably what's got him on here is a lot of the Marvel stuff.
That's crazy.
And Vin
I'm-
Diesel, he don't even see his face.
Right. I'm Groot.
I'm Groot.
And he gets leading actor credit for that too, which is crazy. But you got Tom Holland was 14, Mark Ruffalo 15, Don Cheadle 17, Jeremy Renner 18, Karen Gillian 20, Elizabeth Olsen 21. I mean, it's this whole list is like all Marvel. That's how
But
well
they're
Marvel's
great
done.
movies.
I've never
how well
seen
they've
them,
done.
guys. I've never seen them.
So
You've never seen a Marvel?
Anyway, Vincent,
Jen.
great job. We'll chat you later for that comment. I'll sick Michael Binsky on you for that.
Okay.
That's because that's not good. But anyway, Vincent, great job.
Yeah.
Let people know again where can they find your website? How can they follow you on social media?
Sure. So my Instagram is Vincent Ledvina. It's probably where I'm most active. Twitter or X is Vincent_Ledvina. And then if you want to go to my website, it's theauroraguy.com. I'm just sort of fleshing that out now. I have a lot of big plans for the website, so keep checking because there's new stuff like every couple of weeks. So that's where you can find me.
And there, I will say this too. One of the things I really love in this whole industry is anybody that does educational stuff, right? Just to help other people learn. And you do have some good educational pieces on there as well. And I think you keep doing that and promoting that. There's going to be a lot of value to your site. So I really appreciate that personally. So keep that up. That's great.
Thanks.
Quick question: what's your dissertation on?
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm actually doing my thesis on auroral beads.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I think I had
I
some
think of a food
scandalous.
name for that now. Yeah. Oh God. The amount of people who
Mez
said
smoked some of that a couple weeks ago. It was Aurora beads. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take our final break, but don't forget you can find our Stormfront Freaks merchandise this holiday season exclusively at helicity.co. So Helicity is the dream store of weather stuff for weather geeks, from t-shirts to drink containers. You can shop our entire Stormfront Freaks catalog of logo merch and #WeatherFools t-shirts. And for a limited time, you can get our exclusive 10% discount for the holidays when you enter promo code SFF for Stormfront Freaks. Again, that's SFF. Visit helicity.co. It's the weather superstore for the freak in you. So, hey, we're coming right back. We're going to be playing a game of WXAI Mad Libs with the freaks, so stay tuned.
that was great.
That was
That is
was.
awesome, Felicity. Nice commercial.
That was good. Vincent, you're amazing, by the way. Like every
Oh, thanks.
oh my gosh. I'm so into the Aurora now. Like we need to go Aurora chasing.
Yeah, you
That's
guys
like
should
our
come up
next
to
adventure.
Fairbanks.
Yes.
God, hey, I got to get through Mount
winter?
Washington first. Before I,
Do it. I believe you.
That's I'm kind of jealous. Mount Washington, that actually might be colder than up here. So if you can survive that, you can survive Fairbanks. So.
That's great. True. I'll come there for my hot tub visit, I suppose. Come to Fairbanks.
Exactly. There's
All right.
there's hot springs right next to Fairbanks. So.
Oh, sweet. That sounds great.
Amazing.
So I want to say this, Vincent. So three of our good friends of the show, Dan, Garrett, and Angela, I want to give them an opportunity too, because once we've been through our questions with you, they always come up with some other great questions to add. And
Sure.
so I at least want to give them a chance to go through that. Dan, I'll start with you since you're the first picture I'm looking at.
I'm going to go ahead and defer to the other two. I'm just still kind of processing some of the data.
You're working off the gin. The gin's still kind of working through the system a little bit. Is that fair? Okay. All right, Garrett, how about you? What do you got?
Yeah, I'll go from the photography standpoint. Up there, what are you doing to, prep your lenses for the cold, when you get ready to get out and shoot? Because, that change usually fogs lenses up pretty hardcore unless you've prepped.
Yeah, so I guess it really only is an issue during, I would say, like September and March when it's more humid. During the winter, it's actually super dry here, which is great. But what I do is just tape a hand warmer, or actually what I do now is I take I actually have a sock that I've cut the foot or the toe part out of it, so it's just like a sleeve. Then I put a hand warmer on the inside of that, and I just put that over the lens. Yeah, and that works fine. Otherwise, you can buy like a dew heater too. But,
yeah, I've got a few of the lens heaters, like the USB style that you plug in.
Yep,
and all
yep.
that. They usually work pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
a
good
dude heater?
question. A dude heater.
Dew, DEW.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to know what dudes are warming. Come on.
No, we can. That could be another podcast.
That's after we've had a few.
That's right. That's right. All right, Angela, what do you got?
So my question's a little on the edge, but
Ooh.
what has been your "oh shit, I'm not alone in the woods" story?
Ooh, I don't know. You know what? To be honest, there's really not a whole wildlife here in the winter. Like, I haven't had a lot of encounters or anything. But there was one time. Okay, there's always one time in Churchill, Manitoba. This was last September. There's polar bears up there. So on our way back from one of our spots, there was actually a polar bear that, like, as we were leaving, we could see it like running in the road. And we were like, holy crap, that was literally right next to us, basically the entire time we were there.
Wow.
So that was a little bit, that was a little sobering for sure. But yeah.
But it's a polar bear, so it's cool.
It's cool,
He
but
didn't eat you don't want to get eaten.
Yeah. I'm still here and I have all my limbs. So
Dan is sitting there right now going, I'd take it. I'd take it.
Yeah. Well, we actually had guns with us like all the time. We were carrying guns when we were out there, so big rifles, just in case.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of the extreme side of aurora chasing is going up to Churchill. But
any other questions?
How many storm chasers actually carry guns? That's what I want to know.
Storm chasers?
Garrett.
I've
probably more.
Dan might have one or two.
Probably more than you think.
Yeah,
I've had some run-ins with some crazy people, so I kind of should carry one. To be honest, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Even in Alaska, you would think you'd have one if you walk around.
Yeah, I mean, I just haven't. My parents were never into hunting or anything, so I didn't grow up around guns. I was in Boy Scouts, so I shot guns. I've shot guns before, but I need to go through all the trainings and stuff, and want to get my gun safety license and all that before I even touch a gun. So. But I do want to get one because there are weird people up here, especially when you get outside of Fairbanks. You see people just I'm serious. There's people who are camping on these snowplow turnarounds illegally who've been there for months. And you pull into one of those places, you start setting up your tripods, and all of a sudden somebody comes out with a shotgun, get off my land. And it's not your land, buddy.
Wow.
I was in Scouts. We never had a gun merit badge.
That was Greg Johnson that you might have run into up there, probably.
I was thinking wildlife, and it kind of went to people instead.
Well, wildlife, there's a whole debate on whether or not you can actually operate your gun under that kind of stress. So yeah, people say you should carry a gun, but then you hear people who get mauled by bears and they're carrying handguns, and they just not a single bullet goes off because they just freeze up and they can't do it. So it's better to have bear spray. Yeah, people overestimate their own confidence.
Bear spray.
Yeah, it's like super strong mace. Yeah.
Cocaine. Have cocaine for the bear.
Cocaine bear.
Not cocaine bear. No cocaine.
Yeah, just keep a nice baggie and just throw it off.
Go get it.
Always stay strapped. Yeah.
Hey Vincent, can you do a sound bite for us and just say, "Hi, I'm the Aurora man, Vincent Ledvina, and this is the Stormfront Freaks."
Sure. Hi, my name is Vincent Ledvina. I'm the Aurora guy, and this is Stormfront Freaks.
Cool. Now, is it the Aurora guy or is it the Aurora man?
I say it's the Aurora guy.
But what's your website?
It is theauroraguy.com.
Oh, it is.
And
Okay,
actually,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you got your branding good. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
yeah, and
my
the
bad.
story, there's actually a story behind that. Some people came up to me at a bar in North Dakota and were like, hey, are you the Aurora guy? And that was the first time I'd ever been called that.
Wow.
So that's actually where the name comes from. I didn't give it to myself. These random football players came up to me because one of my photos was posted by the UND page. And they were like, hey, it's the Aurora guy. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, we saw your photo on the UND Instagram. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then the next bar, somebody else comes up to me and says the same thing. I'm like, what the hell? I guess I'm the Aurora guy now. And all my friends were like teasing me about it. They're like, oh, it's the Aurora guy. Like, yep, the Fighting Sioux.
Is that the Fighting Sioux of North Dakota U?
It is.
Nice.
Yep.
I did
where I went
find
for my
you.
undergrad.
I got you.
Hey, nice.
All right. So do you, Vincent, you want to stick around for a couple more quick little segments or do you got to get going?
No, I can definitely stick around. It's only 6 p.m. here, so I got time.
Oh, wow.
So you are now a honorary freak, which allows you to comment from the peanut gallery like the rest of us do when people post and talk about stuff. So you can chat and comment however you want, whenever you want. Is that good?
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
So we are going to, coming out of break, we're going to play the Drive Under the Moon video. And then MJ is going to play the hashtag Weather Fools video. Jen, you will unmute yourself because you'll be automatically muted. So unmute yourself so that you can transition and explain what hashtag Weather Fools is.
Weather Fools.
And then I have 3.
And that's all I got.
Thank God.
I know.
Okay, that's all we got.
I know.
Okay.
You guys, I had two full days
This is
of
the first
shoots, and
time.
I literally.
This is the
had
first time
12-hour
I've
day
been
today.
too busy to do them.
Wow. You almost made it to 200, Dina. Didn't quite make it to the big 200.
Maybe I can pull one up. I
Do it. I
saved
believe
them,
in
but-
you, Dina. Do it. Come on,
But
Dina.
It's all right. Don't worry.
There's
about
got to
it.
be something on
We
the
got
weather.
3. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So I will tell you guys this. I was going through kind of things I want to highlight over the last 100 episodes for our 200th episode. There was an episode that we had 13 weather fools.
Wow.
Holy crap. Which one was that?
I can't remember.
I
But
remember it. I don't remember which one it was,
13.
but it was like, my God.
13 weather fools. All right.
Oh my
So
God.
I will do my weather fools, and then Jen, when I'm done, just tell everybody episode 198 show notes at stormfrontfreaks.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then MJ will play the WXAI video. Dina, you will unmute yourself so that you can transition in. And this is just how we can ways to use AI.
Okay.
I don't even know. I don't even know how you would explain
I'm trying to remember how to explain this because I think I've only seen. We've
we're
only
gonna
done
play
it
Mad
once when I was on-
Libs, and so we're gonna use AI to have it come up with images for us. But the idea is not just that. It's kind of a general WXAI, so that if I think of other ways we can use AI and make a segment out of it, we'll just put it in under WXAI. So just say, hey, we're experimenting. We're experimenting with AI to come up with some neat weather segments. I don't know. Whatever.
And we have Mad
Wing it.
Libs and the AI will come up with images.
And this is good. And this particular one, we're going to do a Mad Lib. Like we've done this once before, but do Mad Libs and use AI to help us
with
come
the
up
images.
Images. Yep.
Because the answer is you're going to show images.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll input. I'm going to play Mad Libs with you guys, and then I'm going to input this into, and I need to share my screen.
I was going to say, you're going to share your screen yourself then?
Yeah. Share screen.
And MJ, you're sharing the Weather Fools, right? Or
I got the Weather Fools, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, MJ.
All right, so I'll do that. We'll play we'll play some Mad Libs, and then following that, MJ will play the Freak Fanbox video. I'll come in. I've just got one Fanbox thing to mention, and then we will close it up. Any questions? Sound good?
Sounds amazing.
So let's. I want to quick go
good.
through here who we've got watching tonight so far. I know we've mentioned Hunter Hurley, Earth Uncut TV. James is on. Look at that.
What's going
James
on?
says, "Great stuff, Vincent."
Yes.
Nice.
So cool. So James is on. Tanya Griffin is with us tonight. We've got who else? Christine, of course.
Love you, Christine.
So Christine is with us from Germany. She had one comment earlier about they were able to see them down south in Germany, the aurora borealis. So that was cool.
Yeah, but they drink warm beer, so they see all kinds of stuff.
I know Carly Anna was on with us for a little while. So if Carly, if you're still on, how you doing? Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Carly, for watching, everyone.
Awesome.
Y'all are awesome.
So, okay. So is everybody ready to roll?
I have one question. So after the Mad Libs.
Hey, Luann.
Hey. So after the AI stuff, am I tossing right to MJ, or is there going to be some kind of intro to it?
No. So after what do you mean?
Oh, you're going to show actually, you're going to end it because you're going to have the pictures. So
yeah, I'll have the pictures. I'll end it. Yep. I just need you to introduce it all and do the transition out of video.
All right.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right,
We'll
MJ.
do VIPs at the end. Gotta get those done. Then I'm gonna go get us.
Gonna get my weatherful voice.
Layout.
So my voice is really raspy. I know.
Are you thinking out loud, MJ? Thinking out loud.
Get that all ready, Jen. Get that.
I'm trying to. I've been talking all day.
Deep.
All right, guys, it's time for Weather Fools. Get ready, miss. What's happening?
Hey, this is James Spann of ABC 3340 in Birmingham, and you are listening to the Storm Front Freaks podcast.
Let's take a drive under the moon. Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon.
All right, guys. It is time for Weather Fools, one of the classic segments on Stormfront Freaks. And do you know what Weather Fools is? Well, if you don't, you should, because you should be a listener of our podcast. So what Weather Fools are, they are people that just do ridiculously stupid things in crazy wild weather that they shouldn't be doing. And we've caught them on camera, or other people have caught them on camera, and we're here to show that to you. Or it's just kind of crazy wild weather or things. And so I think Phil has 3 of those to show us today. So let's see them.
I've got 3. So this first one I'm going to call it's a water slide you don't want to be on.
Oh, that's bad.
And this was some flash flooding going on.
Way flash flooding.
Yeah.
But you can see people are stuck in those cars and they're just like bouncing around like
I think there was a motorcycle at the beginning of that one, wasn't there?
Yeah, watch it'll play again, and there's I think one of the first things you see is like, and I think there's a guy on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean he was just floating down really fast. By the way,
yeah, that's terrifying.
It's definitely going downhill this street. So we're
there
in a
he is.
street. There
he is.
He's treading water with his cycle.
Oh my
like
God.
his cycle's floating. That's kind of weird.
And he's holding on to it for dear life. He's not letting it go. He's like keeping the bike.
But I forget where this was. MJ, can you scroll that down just a little bit? Does it say where this was? Dominican Republic.
Oh, the Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
And so this is, in town, a street, and it was just roaring, flowing. Water was flowing down there. So, all right. So that was the first one, a water slide you don't want to be on. The second one is not showing up. So
I have to give a shout out to Tanya because she said, wouldn't that be a flash flood emergency? Yes, it would be.
Yeah. All right.
100%.
This next one I'm taking a mulligan. And so this is a guy sitting behind his golf cart.
Oh,
the wind is just ripping dust. It's like the Dust Bowl.
I mean, that's clearly severe wind gust. I mean, it has to be. Look at that. and he's just there.
He's like waiting it out, like he's gonna tee it off here in a couple seconds, but he's not. He's gonna be waiting this out a little while.
I'm surprised he doesn't reach up and try to grab a beer and then I'm good.
I can't believe this.
Is he eating something? Looks like he's eating.
He's like getting a protein bar. Yeah, he's about to hit off the 10th. This
He's
is
getting
kind of at the
sand in
break.
his mouth and whatever he's eating. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's so
It's
not a good thing.
microdermabrasion. He's getting the whole body.
That's true.
Whole body microderm.
All right, the last one I'm going to call autocorrect fail. And this is, and MJ just played this actually during our little break. James Spann, you guys all know James, friend of the show. He had a post on Twitter the other day that he was talking about. He had a video of them lighting up the Christmas tree. I think it might have been in Birmingham. And he was lighting the tree up, and he had beautiful video. And his comment in Twitter was lightening up the tree, or the tree is lightening up, and it was spelled lightning.
Oh.
And I don't, if you follow Twitter, you know people give shit to people all the time, right? About, are you saying lightning, or is it lightning, or is it lightening? And so what's funny is here's a guy who for decades has probably been typing the word lightning in his posts for decades. And the one time he probably typed lighting, he probably got a stupid autocorrect, the iPhone thinking, I'm sure you meant lightning, James. And he probably autocorrected that to lightning, but
it's artificial intelligence.
So that was my iPhone as the weather fool out of that one.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
That was good.
And that could easily happen to anyone, everyone. Well, those are great. So if you want to see all of those and more, go to episode 198 show notes on stormfrontfreaks.com.
Okay, and now this is a fun one too, because this is a segment we call Weather AI Mad Libs. And I was just kind of joking about AI, but it's the big buzz right now. Everybody's talking about it, but we were trying to play with it and experiment and find ways to use a weather AI for weather Mad Libs and kind of come up with an image and see what it actually comes up with. So I think, Phil, you kind of ran these scenarios, right?
A little bit. So here we go. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to play a little Mad Libs. You guys know Mad Libs, right? You remember doing this when you were in school as kids and all that fun stuff. So we're going to play a short little game of Mad Libs, and then we are going to see how well AI can interpret the Mad Lib that we just created. You guys, how's that sound?
Don't make AI. Make AI mad at you.
Like visually interpret this. So I'm just going to go through. I've got 4 different things to come up with, and Vincent, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Give me a famous monster. A famous monster.
Famous monster. How about a kraken?
Ooh, the kraken. Oh, yeah. Release the kraken.
Nice.
All right, that's good. All right, Maz, I need a time period or decade.
Renaissance.
God, I don't know how do you spell. You're gonna make me spell that for AI?
Okay, fine.
Come up with something else.
Time period. Space age.
That's a time period,
isn't it?
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll take it.
So
it's Mad Lib.
Victorian.
It's Mad Libs.
Hard.
Now you're doing Victorian. I can spell that, I think. All right, Victorian. All right, we're gonna go. Jen, I need a type of storm.
Oh, a hurricane.
Hurricane.
We're just okay.
Well, she gets the easy
all right,
one.
and then Dina, I need a famous landmark.
Oh, let's see. What's the one they hike? Why am I drawing a blank? You know, the top of Mount.
Machu Picchu.
Well, that one will do.
No, give me something.
Spelling that one.
Give me something like a famous landmark, not one that like 5 people hike. Let's like a famous one that people are going to go visit, right?
Let's see. All right, I'll do this one. Like the cathedral. The Roman
cathedral?
The cathedral.
Where the hell is that?
Rome. The Colosseum. Do that. The
Okay.
Colosseum. Just pick it.
All right. That's a little bit. That's what
Okay.
How do you
Okay.
spell that? Colosseum.
I don't know. It's up to you. I did the hard work.
God, you guys are killing me. Okay, so here we go. That was hard. So here's the story. The latest episode of Mysteries Unsolved shares the earliest hurricane photo on record from what experts say is from the Victorian time period. Notice the photo was, I didn't even know if they have photos back. Probably someone drew it or painted it. But the photo, notice, was taken from what appears to be the Roman Colosseum. But the real unsolved mystery is if it's the Kraken that's in the background.
It is a plumber.
That's the plumber's Kraken. No, I don't know. So here's what I am going to do. I am going to go to. So I'm going to use Dolly 2. If you guys have heard of this, and I'm just going to basically type in hurricane photo during Victorian period. At the Roman oh my God, Collesseum.
Sure.
Nope. it's helping me autocorrect here. That doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Colosseum, just one L maybe. Okay.
Sure.
At the Roman Colosseum with a Kraken in the background.
Oh
So
my God.
this is what I tell AI. And it's going to basically generate a couple photos for us, and we'll see how good AI got to telling our little Mad Lib story here.
That didn't even come out. The space age one, see, it was thinking.
Okay.
It was thinking what?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
That's pretty
So-
cool.
Wow.
Oh, this is it. I see.
Victorian photo. That's not bad. Nice
That's
black
pretty
and
damn
white.
good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say
Grainy
that's
photo of the Colosseum. It looks like maybe a big wave. What's this big like Captain America shield here at the top?
That's your Kraken.
It's a Kraken tentacle or something.
Where is the Kraken? Is this the Kraken? Is this like
I think
an
that's
eye?
the Kraken.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's not
I think
really in the
that's the tentacle.
background. All right, next one. Here we go.
I like it.
Is this the Kraken?
Oh,
tail?
that's the tail. That's the
okay.
like the, I don't know, what do you call it? The tentacle.
It's kind of in the
tentacle.
It's not in the background, but look at that. Waves are kind of splashing into the Colosseum there. Black and white grainy photo. That's not too bad.
Oh, that one's good.
Ooh, what is that?
Down here.
Okay.
Guy seems to have trouble with the Kraken a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Doesn't.
And then
Yeah.
what's this? Is this like, it looks like a fence, a big tall fence. Is that
trees.
supposed to be a wave?
I don't know. Or just
I don't know.
there's the rough seas and everything there too. I don't know.
Yeah, the rough seas are good. The clouds, by the Colosseum, it's still got the black and white green. All right, the last one. Here we go.
Oh, that's a good Kraken.
That was the best one.
That's a
That's the best
Yeah.
one.
There.
Yeah.
That is good. Sure, lightning in the background, a Kraken tentacle in the waves.
Good job, Dolly.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's a good one.
bad.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
really,
that's
really
a
good.
keeper.
I'm
That's a
impressed by
keeper.
this one. This is
We'll
good.
have to, we'll have to share this on our social media. Share those photos. So there we go. WXAI Mad Libs. Good job, guys.
All right.
Well done.
Send me a postcard, drop me a line.
You've got mail, baby. Yeah.
All right, we do have a little mail in the Freak fan box. This one is from our fellow listener and friend of the show, Fuzzy. Fuzzy Mickelson came back and said, one of the greatest weather podcasts on YouTube next to Weather Brains. If you haven't seen the Stormfront Freaks before, go watch them. I promise that you will love them.
Thank you.
I love
Did you say
that.
Phil Mickelson or Fuzzy
Fuzzy.
Zeller? What'd you say?
Fuzzy Mickelson is what he goes by.
Gotcha.
I think
So-
Phil too, though. Phil Mickelson.
And he said, promise that you will love them. Some of us maybe more than others, but yes, you will. You'll probably love us. So, hey, so do us a favor and just mention us in your next post and you might see your name on the next Freak Fan Box. You never know.
Cool.
So I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks Live. I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. Do us a favor, please, if you like the show, hit that follow or subscribe button, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, I mean, whatever you're checking us out on. Hit that follow, subscribe button. And all it does, it really helps us get discovered by more people. And if you could also share this episode, if you like this episode with Vincent, just go ahead and tag it and share it, or copy and paste on your next post. That just really helps us out if you like what we're doing for you. Let's go around the horn, kind of find out, freaks, how people can follow you. Dina, I'll start with you down in the corner.
I'm LadyPilot70 on Instagram and X.
Cool. All right, Jen Watson.
I am Jennifer Weather on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X. I'm at jwatson_WX.
All right, then Maz, who I can't tag on Twitter. I always try to tag you with all the other co-hosts, and you've somehow you've blocked me or something. I don't know, but I can't tag you.
It's nothing personal, buddy.
I get it. I'm with you.
I'm on X at MoneyStorm, the number 4 and the letter U. MoneyStorm for you.
Very good. And you can typically find me on Twitter. I'm posting on our Stormfront Freak account. So look for at Stormfront Freak. No S. We ran out of letters there. So special thanks to our guest tonight, Vincent Ledvina. Vincent, thank you so much. You're awesome.
Thank you, Vincent.
Vincent, you're amazing.
That was great. I'll be honest with you. So we're almost 200 episodes. We've never done an episode on solar storms. Right. And then I think we need to do more of that. You might be our resident expert. We'll bring you back.
Works for me. I'm happy to come back.
Cool. All right. So we've got episode 199 coming up next. And this is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, this is leading right into 200. So we're going to be celebrating the holidays with a movie commentary episode. So we've done a few of our movie commentaries. This one is going to be on Christmas Twister. It's the holiday classic that everybody loves and follows, right?
It
is Christmas Twister, and we'll have our drinking game, our exclusive Stormfront Freaks drinking game. But here's what's going to be great about this episode: we actually have the director of the movie, Peter Sullivan, is going to be joining us. So
okay.
This is the first time we've ever had a movie commentary and actually had someone from the movie with us to come in on the show. So this is going to be great, because think about all the cool things we're going to be able to ask them about special effects and all this kind of stuff. Even though it's not a super high budget film, right? There's going to be some cool things that we're going to be able to bring him in and ask him about, and hopefully he'll play the drinking game with us as well. So it'll be enjoyable. So we're going to be sharing all that. We'll be doing it live Thursday, December 21st. So bring the kiddos, bring the family around to watch this. It's going to be at our normal 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, but we will be streaming on our Facebook account. So just go to Facebook, search Stormfront Freaks, and that's where you will see us being able to stream that. We won't be on YouTube, so just a heads up there. The audio podcast will be available then before Christmas. So that should be a lot of fun, and then it's 200.
Are there rules with the drinking game again?
Never. No,
never.
There's never rules.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we should be good. So, all right. So I'm gonna signal the all clear for Jen, Maz, Dina, Vincent, and in the green room we got Dan, Garrett, Angela, and MJ. I'm gonna signal the all clear. We'll catch you guys next time. Good night.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. You can watch our bi-weekly show live on youtube.com/StormfrontFreaks and download the audio version on your favorite podcast player. For links to our Patreon team of exclusive benefits, show notes, past shows, new videos, merchandise, and more, visit our website at stormfrontfreaks.com. While you're there, check out our interactive chaser radar from our friends at zoomradar.com. If you'd like to contact us with questions or make comments about the show, shoot us an email to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Search for Stormfront Freaks. We'd love to hear from you. Join us next time and tell a friend about the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Didn't we have the director of the Alec Baldwin movie on?
Yeah. But that wasn't a movie commentary episode. Like, we didn't watch the movie with him.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Right.
I understand.
We just had him on, and we also had the director of 13 Minutes was on. But again, it was just to talk about the movie that was released. It wasn't to watch it with him.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the difference. All right, Vincent, you were awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, way to go.
Appreciate it.
What's your sweatshirt say? What does it say?
North Face.
Yeah, it's a North Face.
Okay.
hoodie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, and it's got one of the California whatever like grizzly bears on it or something like that. So yeah.
Right. What kind of
you
bears?
need the hoodies up here when it's cold. It's a grizzly bear, I think.
Oh, grizzly.
The ones we have up here. Yeah, the ones we have up here in Alaska. Yeah, the brown bears.
You get a venture
Hey
out for
Vincent, how many oh sorry, Angela.
I was saying you get a venture out for a sponsorship.
Yeah, really.
I should, yeah.
I'm wondering how many hours of daylight you've got right now.
I just checked today because somebody was asking me. We have 4 hours and 11 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I'm out.
We're getting
It's counting down. It's counting
3
down.
3 hours and 47 minutes on the solstice. So we're almost
Forgot
there.
to ask. What are you drinking? We forgot to ask.
Oh, I was drinking black coffee. Classic Aurora Chaser drink right there.
Cheers.
Yeah.
To stay up at night.
Yeah.
Give me. I'll pour a little in there for you.
Irish coffee, laddie.
Yeah. So cool. Hey, you guys, Dan, Garrett, or Angela, you guys have any more questions for Vincent?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I just
Cool.
can't wait
Yeah,
to check out your resources, Vincent. I'm excited.
Thanks. Yeah. There's tons of stuff on my website. And if you ever want anything, and it's, if you want one of my ebooks, just email me and I can send it to you. You don't need to pay for it either.
Nice.
So,
Oh, Vincent.
Thank you, Vincent.
Is it all equations?
yeah, no. There's actually the only equation in there is that 400 rule. So all you have is a nice division symbol, and that's it. If you can handle that, you'll be good. So
I can handle it, I think, that one.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Your fridge.
I'm in. Cool. So yeah, no other questions. Everyone's good there.
No, I'd definitely like to come up and do some photography up there. That'd be great.
Yeah. Me too. We all need to take a field trip up to Alaska.
We do.
Field trip
Yeah.
to Alaska.
That maybe that's
There's a lot to
the
see.
next
Episode 300.
That's the next episode. Yeah, that's just what I was thinking.
300.
300.
3 years. We'll be up there in 3 years.
3 years. Okay,
Used
sounds
to be
good.
like, I forget you guys.
I'll still be here. I have 5 more years up to my PhD, so I'll still be
Oh,
here.
really? 5 more years?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just started this semester, so I'm like fresh into it. I'm taking classes right now.
Space
yeah.
physics.
What classes?
Oh my God.
What do you take in class?
I'm taking fundamentals of plasma physics, math physics, and mechanics right now.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
but all
God
like
bless, man.
graduate level. So it's tough. Yeah, I'm in my finals week right now. So
They serve
Oh,
alcohol
well, thanks for
in
making.
that class?
yeah. Huh?
They serve alcohol in the class?
Honestly, they really should, especially
Did
towards
anybody
the last couple weeks. Yeah, they should.
Any good names, episode names for anybody? Did you hear anything good we
What
could
was
use?
one of your names that you called something? You had the space croissant,
Space
the
croissant
watermelon.
I had,
Base
yeah.
croissant,
Watermelon.
the watermelon aurora, the cinnamon roll aurora. Yeah,
Croissant, that's
Space
a good one.
croissant. That's pretty
Space
good.
croissant
Yeah, that's what I
is
wrote
kind of
down.
fun, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
That's a good
There's
one.
another word I can't spell. Jeez, we're like that's the name of the game tonight. Is words Phil can't spell.
That's okay.
I love it.
So on
That's
a
really okay.
completely random note, I I fostered a 4-week-old kitten, so Phil, close your
no.
eyes.
Wow, cool. Yeah. Okay.
Where's
This is my
Brandon?
foster bear.
Oh,
Her name's
look at
Stormy.
that.
Oh,
nice.
nice name.
Nice.
Nice.
He's tired.
in
Is
the
she?
ass.
She's
She-
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part
She's
bear.
tired.
Part bear. Does it have fur? Is that like one of the?
Yeah.
Okay, it looked
It's
like it was
dark.
one of those furless.
Those things are like little, like weird demon things.
My friends have some, and it's the craziest thing I've seen.
I can't. I have cats, but not hairless.
Hairless. That's that furless.
Yeah.
Hairless. Okay.
No, she is definitely fuzzy and a pain in the ass.
Wow, it's good. You're starting on the right foot. That's good.
Aw.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head out, everybody.
All right, we'll end.
So,
For everybody, say goodbye to everyone.
All right. Thanks
Hey.
for joining us
Bye,
tonight.